On today's show, I'm going to give you 5 realistic options for the Detroit Lions to potentially upgrade their roster or things that can happen before training camp here. That's what this video is all about. What are players that the Lions potentially could look to acquire? Realistic options, not ones that are far-fetched or out of the realm of possibility. Before we start this, though, I got a question for you. How would you grade the Lions offseason so far? A, B, C, D, or F? Disclaimer really quick, though. I'm not predicting that the Lions are going to make these moves. I'm saying these are potential moves that's more realistic that the Lions could look to do before training camp. So, not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying, of all the options, it's the most realistic. First here is signing an edge, and I got a player called Yannick Ngakoue, a free agent from the Chicago Bears, a really good player. And why would you want to add an edge here? Well, because the Detroit Lions, they do got a plethora of players, but nobody is really standing out at this point, at least in my opinion, opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. Now, I think they're going to let it play out a little bit, right, and see who potentially could make that spot. But look, if nobody is really obtaining that spot, you got to get somebody else for the depth there and edge and rotational edge piece. Look, we think John Kaminsky is going to have a better season. We think Joshua Pascal potentially could take that next step. Marcus Davin, our free agent, is he really going to live up to the bill? James Houston, injured last year, had a hell of a rookie season. Mitchell Good, we hear about him. We haven't heard about him before. Matthew Betts is a USFL guy. So we have a lot of question marks at that position. And for me, specifically, I would like to make sure before the regular season happens that there's not that many questions out there. And what would Yannick Ngakoue bring to the Detroit Lions? Well, he has a plethora of experience, especially last year. He was with the Bears, 176 tackles, 0 forced fumbles, 4 sacks, 13 games played. What is something that the Lions need is somebody who's on the field and who can get sacks. And Ngakoue is still a player that can get it done, 110%. I know he's an older veteran out there, but he's still playing. He's about 29 years old, still has gas left in the tank. If the Lions need help, he can get sacks. Just like I said, he has gas left in the tank. It adds defensive depth in the defensive line. And I don't think it'd be too expensive to get a player of his ilk on this football team. Now, what is the potential problems here? Maybe he does want more. Maybe he doesn't want to play for the Lions. Maybe he's waiting for an opportunity of a player to get injured before training camp or in training camp to sign with a player. So question for you, would you sign edge Yannick Ngakoue? S for sign, P for pass. Let's continue on here. Another player that the Lions could look to sign in, at least at the safety position here. Now, I like safety in the current team, but maybe the Detroit Lions, their brass thinks we need to have a little more depth there. You look at what the Lions have. You can go ahead and add Brian Branch to this, even though I put it kind of in the nickel, but he's a safety. Kirby Joseph, Afutu, Melifonwu, and CJ Moore. Now, do I think that the Lions need to upgrade a safety? I personally don't. I mean, I can see them doing it right now. They got the money, so why not, right? But I believe in Afutu Melifonwu, and I believe in Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. But again, what if we seen Kirby Joseph, he didn't do as well as we wanted him to? What if it doesn't work there? What if things are just not working out? Like, you know what? Let's fix this problem. Get a guy in Justin Simmons who's one of the best safeties in football, and he's a free agent. 53 solo tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 8 pass defense, 3 interceptions. You add that to the Lions' defense. The Lions' defense is going to be much improved this year, and especially with the turnovers, and that's something that we all love here. Turnovers. And guess what? Simmons, he can still do that. If you put him with CJ Moore, Brian Branch, Iffy, and Kirby, you're looking at a significant upgrade at safety. Do I think that the Lions do this at this moment? No, I don't. But he is an option. He is definitely an option for the Lions. And that's all we can put out there. What about another option for Detroit? And I think this is a position we've talked about many times on this channel throughout all of Lions Talk, is signing another receiver to help out the loss of Josh Reynolds. Now, look, there's a player out there who we all know of. He's a former Saint. He's now a free agent. He played with or he didn't play with Campbell. He was on the team with Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn, so the 11 was familiar. That's Michael Thomas. 39 receptions last year, 448 yards, 11.5 average, and 1 touchdown. Very reminiscent of a Josh Reynolds type of stats. You look at the Lions' depth, though, here at wide receiver, and I do like the depth here. St. Brown is your number 1. Jamison Williams is your number 2. Wide receiver 3 is probably going to be a Khalif Raymond. It says on here it's one grain. You can, wherever you want to. Donovan Peoples-Jones in the mix. And you have Maurice Alexander, Darius Fountain, Tom Kenny, Caden Davis, and Isaiah Williams trying to pick up that probably at final spot there. Now, we've heard a lot about Darius Fountain, how he showed some flashes, but what if it's just, well, they're having pajamas on, right? They weren't doing no full or anything, and same with Maurice Alexander. He's tried to make the team before. It just hasn't worked. So if things aren't looking good, you can go to a Michael Thomas. Why? We'll put depth at wide receiver, so that's a big thing. He knows the staff knows him. So look, I know he deals with a lot of issues when it comes to injury front. That's something that the staff could figure out. What was said about ESPN about adding Michael Thomas to the Lions roster? They said the Lions have a lot of cap space and definitely could use veteran help, so why not bring in Thomas to reclamation project? He has 448 yards, touchdown in New Orleans last season, but the Lions have kind of offensive scheme that could put him back at the rate of 70% on the slants, and that could get to 2018 and 19. If it doesn't work out, the Lions just spend money they weren't using anyways. It does have another step towards finally getting Detroit to a Super Bowl. So, do you think that could get to a Lions to a Super Bowl? I don't know. What move, if any, do you want the Lions to make before training camp? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I think, look, I want to see the receivers play out first in training camp, and I know this is a pre-training camp, but it's kind of pre in the middle of it, in my opinion. I think the Lions could sign him if one of the receivers are not working out. I do, and it brings depth, and I wouldn't have a problem with it, and the Lions got the money to do so. Another move that the Lions could do is sign another edge. What if they don't want to get a Yannick Ngakoue? They're like, you know what? This is not the option that we want to do here. There is still players in free agency that the Detroit Lions could look to get. And one player here that I think it should be on the radar is Emmanuel Ogbah. Free agent pass rusher here, 7 solo tackles, 1 forced fumble, 5 sacks, and he played in 15 games. If you put him on the Detroit Lions defensive line, it is an upgrade. And it is a something that'll bring the Lions depth at this position. Just like we talked about earlier in this video, there are question marks when it comes to the Detroit Lions defensive line. Again, we know Aiden Hutchinson is good to go, but beyond that, there are a lot of question marks, and we just have not figured out, if these question marks can get filled out. Can they be good to go? I think having a really good defensive line or someone just opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, just get a little bit of pressure, could really propel the Detroit Lions to a Super Bowl. 110%. But I got an important thing to note about when it comes to free agents and when it comes to free agency right now in the Lions' 53-man roster and how are they going to make it. Under no circumstances can the Lions sacrifice young talent for 1 year from a 1-year rental of free agents of anyone that I put on this list. The young talent, I think, is more important. This is how you have a long-term success for each position. You draft a player, develop it, and let them play. So I want to see Antoine Green. I want to see Isaiah Williams. I want to see players who are currently on this roster, at least to attempt to see if they can fill in the void. That's why we trust Brad Holmes. That's why we want to get a lot of talent on this roster. Young talent is you develop it and let them play. So let's see what Green's got and what the others got for this football team. So again, what move, if any, will the Lions make before the start of training camp? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below right now. Last, and surely not least, is extending Alim McNeill. This would be a great move for the Detroit Lions. Why do I say this? Well, Alim McNeill's a good defensive tackle. He had 5 sacks last year. We bring in DJ Reader this year. We bring in more defensive talent in the secondary. Just by adding all the talent, it's going to give options for Alim McNeill to get more opportunities for him to get sacks. So, if you do it now, you're probably saving money. Okay? We love saving money. I do. I'm Dutch. That would be good. We have the cap space to get it done right now. We do. We got the cap space to get it done now. We have the cap space next year. We can get it done. And again, less you got to worry about down the road. Oh, are we going to sign? Can we re-sign Alim McNeill? I don't know if we can do it. We know those question marks. If you do it now, you don't have nothing to worry about down the road. What do I expect with, adding talent or extending? The Lions will test the current players first. That's what they're going to do. 100%. If that fails, I don't think they'll have a problem at all to add talent to this team, whether it be the wide receiver position, whether it be the edge position. If one of these guys or some of their guys are not sticking out and it's the same old, they would add a player. When it comes to Alim McNeill, I do truly believe they'll extend him after the season. That's what I expect. I want it to be before, and it's possible before, but I expect it to be the latter. And that's just kind of what my belief system is on that one. Folks, we're going to be dropping videos every single day, so subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. What do you guys think? Should the Lions add players? Should they not? With that said, folks, adios.